Hi, everyone. Good evening. Bonsoir. My French is you're gonna get a little sample of it here tonight. So welcome to the 2024 Kanata North Nuisance Mosquito Operations Information Session. This meeting is being hosted by the Kanata North office. Please note that this meeting is being recorded, but it's not live streamed, so people can watch it afterwards. Before we begin, we'd like to start as we always do with the land acknowledgement. Ottawa was built on unceded Anishinaabe Algonquin territory. The peoples of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation have lived on this territory for millennia. Their culture and presence have nurtured and continue to nurture this land. La ville d'Ottawa rend hommage au peuple et au territoire de la nation Anishinaabe Algonquine. La ville d'Ottawa rend hommage à toutes les Premières Nations, à toutes les Inuits et tous les Métis, de même qu'aux précieuses contributions passées et présentes à cette terre. Tonight's meeting will proceed as follows. I will start off with a few opening remarks about what we're going to do here tonight. Then we'll turn to a presentation from GDG Canada. They are represented here tonight by Richard Trudel and Joel Boudreau, and Caroline Trepanier is not here tonight, no. Their presentation will walk us through the operational aspects of the 2024 program. Following the presentation, the floor will be open to questions from the public. Individuals wishing to ask a question can raise their hand and a mic will be passed to you so that the recording can get your voice. Now some people say, oh, I don't really need a mic, but it'll certainly help with the recording. Final housekeeping note, tonight's meeting will focus on the operational aspects of the 2024 Nuisance Mosquito Program. Individuals wishing to ask questions related to other aspects of the program are welcome to reach out to our office. So I say that because we know that there were some people that were not happy that, they were in the minority vote and didn't want the program at all. So, but the decision has been made. So we are going forward with it because the majority voted for it. So it's not a debate tonight in case anybody thought that. I don't think maybe people thought that, but I just thought I would review that. And then the other thing was that we did 5 consultation sessions. I mean, some of you may have attended them, but we did 5 of them. And many of them, people talked about how they weren't sure what was going on week by week for the program, that they weren't clear on who to communicate if they had an issue. So we then committed and we said, if it is the vote to go forward, we'll have a night like this where we can make sure everyone understands how it's going to work and what they will notice. I mean, some people generally notice they'll see helicopters and everything else, but we go through the operations so that if there are concerns, you can then know exactly who to communicate with. And we will certainly communicate. If you're not on my newsletter, please sign up for my newsletter. In my newsletter on the website, which is kanatanorth.ca, and obviously in the Community Voice newspaper when there's more information to report. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that, what the communication flow is, just so that we're all on the same page. So before I say anything more, I will pass it off and we'll go through the presentation tonight. Thank you very, very much for coming. We really appreciate this. It's very helpful for the community to be able to see who we're working with and how this is going to run. So thank you so much.
So thanks a lot, Councillor Curry. So my name is Richard Trudel. So I came with my colleague Joel Boudreau. So me, I'm the entomologist, and he's the the project manager for this program. So next slide.
Sorry, 1 second here.
We'll just do in the beginning just a little presentation of GDG Canada, that is part of GDG Environment from Quebec. So as you can see, we're there in the business for the last 40 years. And we don't only, can I have the pointer? So we don't only work on mosquitoes, on the control program of mosquitoes, we also work on the control of invasive plants, spruce budworm in forestry, and also on the control of emerald arbor. Next slide, please. So why a program in Canada? So it's sure that's for a better quality of life outdoors. And the better quality of life pass by avoiding insect bites and apply less insect repellents also. So, and the major part of it is to avoid as much as possible the use of adult pesticide treatment in the community, because we would have to use chemical pesticide. In this case, it's only biological pesticides. So what do we use for the control of mosquito? Only most of you know about it. So next slide. So it's a bacteria that is called, the scientific name is Bacillus thuringiensis var israelensis. So it's a bacteria. It's biological. So it's not something that is created artificially. It's something that is cultured, and it's really it's an ecological solution. It's not chemical. So it's very targeted for what we want to control. So next slide. So what are the facts about this bacteria? So it's naturally found in the soil, and it allows 80% of nuisance reduction for the mosquitoes and the black flies. But here we only control the mosquito. So since it's a bacteria, when it is exposed to UV rays from the sun, it's really rapid biodegradation. And since it's a biodegradation, there is no accumulation in the environment. And like I said, it's efficient against the mosquito and the black flies. So that's the life cycle of a mosquito. So if we start here, so we have the mating of the mosquito, and following that, the female will lay eggs in the water or near the water. And this environment can be natural, or it can be also artificial, like in your backyard, if you have artificial containers. So it happens that the mosquito can lay eggs there and will provide an environment for the development of mosquito in your surrounding. So after that, you're going to have the hatching of the little larvae. And next slide. So what we target with the use of BTI, so that's the small name of Bacillus thuringiensis israelensis. So the BTI will act on the larvae, because I will say it later, but the insecticide has to be ingested by the larvae for it to be efficient. So normally with the treatment, it stops there. So there is no pupae and no new mosquito in the environment when the control is well applied. Next slide. So how does it work? Like I said, that's the little bacteria. So it's sure that it's formulated in a biopesticide. So there is not only the bacteria, but there is other substances to make the bacteria homogeneous in the preparation. So once it's sprayed in the water, the little larvae has to eat it first for it to be efficient. So once it gets in the digestive tract, the digestive enzyme in the stomach will degrade the bacteria, and then the toxin will get out of the bacteria, and what is destroyed the epithelium inside the stomach of the mosquito. So following that, the larvae will die. And like I said earlier, it works on the mosquito and the black fly, but it's really specific according to the pH in the stomach of the insect. So like for the bees, it's not an issue, because it's not in the same group of insect, so there is no problem with the bee. And since we spray it in the water, it's rare that you're going to see a bee swimming in the water, so there's no problem. So we talked about the BTI. So now let's talk about the different steps for conducting a mosquito control program. So first we have the monitoring. And during the monitoring, it's what we began to do already in Kanata North. So we have maps. So we already know where places can water accumulates in the ground. So we know already where to go to do that monitoring. So when we find something in the water, so usually we know that it's mosquito larvae. But anyway, we keep samples of these little larvae to document the larval stage. So it helps us to saturate on the time for the treatment. Next. Once we know that we have to do treatment, so it's the communication step that we have to go through. So we have to tell the municipality that the treatment will be conducted soon, and there is also information in the local paper that has to be presented to the population to tell you're gonna see a helicopter or you're gonna see people treating around your house or something like that. So that's the second step. The third step is the treatment. So you have ground treatment. So if we apply, here we see it's the application with the liquid formulation. You have also granular formulation. So sometimes you might see little granules of it's corn. It's corn granule, and at the exterior of the granule you have the composition of the VTI, and also you have here the helicopter. Thanks. There is two different strategies for the control of mosquito. You have the spring treatment and you have the summer treatment. So all the treatment are really closely associated with the developmental stage and the different generation of the insect. In spring, it's easier, but because most of the species, they have only one generation per year. And these larvae comes from the pool of stagnant water from snow melt. So if you have woods in your surrounding, it's a place where snow accumulates, and when the snow melts, it makes a great environment for the larvae to develop. So that's what we look for in the spring. So like I said, depending on the temperature, depending on the weather condition, so the applicator, the helicopter, or the field agent will be assigned for treatments, aerial or ground treatment. So, like I said, you have the water temperature that will affect the development of larvae and the weather condition. Next. So for the spring, so you have only one generation of larvae. In the summer, it's different because in the summer, what will coordinate the work for the control of larvae? It's the rain. So the pools of water, of stagnant water, will be dependent on rain. So maybe if you think that you're gonna see people at every week, it's not a systematic treatment. We don't apply the VTI at the places when there is no larvae. So for that, when there is rain, so like we said earlier, there's gonna be monitoring to validate that there is larvae in the stagnant water from rain. And if there is larvae, their treatment, they're gonna be.
We do monitoring every week, but we don't do treatment every week if there is no water.
Okay.
So you might see people going around, but not specifically doing treatment. So, and another thing that makes larvae to develop is river overflow. I think that in Ottawa, Kanata, you have a river that overflows, and that generates breeding sites from the little larvae.
The carpet one.
Okay. So it's the same thing here. So depending on the temperature of water, the larval development will be in accordance of the temperature of the water and also the weather condition. So sometimes we might have the right stage of the larvae for doing the treatment. But if we have to do an aerial treatment with the helicopter, we have to have the weather condition appropriate in order to have an efficient treatment. Next slide. So the next step after the treatment is the analysis. So next slide. So the analysis, we have to document two different aspects. So since we target the larvae for the treatment, so we want to evaluate if the treatment killed the little larvae. So like here, you have a track of a field agent, and at each check, he sampled the water, and then he validates that the larvae are there. So maybe if you have 25 larvae, he will count maybe, okay, there is 23 dead and 2 alive. So we calculate the percentage of mortality at each station that you have a little check. So that's the first validation of the treatment. The second validation, next slide. It's the presence of mosquito, because if we do the treatment, it's to limit the presence of the adult mosquito because it causes the nuisance. So for that, the field agent will have a entomological net, and for a period of 5 minutes, at appropriate station that will be defined. Is it defined by the municipality or is it defined by us? Do you suggest places to do the?
We don't, but other years, people have called in to say there's a higher number. So I think it was a combination of both, because I would see them in parks all over the place with the nets. But then we would also have people say there's quite a lot in our area and you would head over.
Yeah, we do 8 stations weekly, and when we receive calls, we do at the resident.
Okay.
Right.
So the strategy is that with the net, we stand still for 5 minutes to attract mosquito if there is. Usually there's no. And after that, we do 5 minutes of net. And the target is 5 and less in 5 minutes. 5 mosquito in the net in 5 minutes.
That's not true.
So that's the second evaluation. So now the most important thing is how to reach out for information for the control program. So there is different question that we heard about from last year. So can residents reach out to let us know of a problem area from the past season before the season starts? The question, the answer is yes. So like we're going to exchange a little bit at the end of the presentation, but it's sure that all these past experience of last year, if we are aware of them, we will be more able to manage these past experience. So another question that what can we do if we have issues or question about the current mosquito control program? So we're going to see it in the next slide. We're going to present you different mode of communication with GDG or with the city. So with that protocol, it will be easy for you to have to give us your question, and then for us to give you the answer. And if we have to get to your surrounding, we're going to get and take care of the problem. Another question is what can we do if we have issues or question about West Nile virus? So since we take care of the control program, so we control the mosquito. So if we have issue with the West Nile virus, it's more with the city that you have to get information. So for the next slide. So regarding the mosquito control program, so GDG has a bug report toll-free number, so you can see it. But I think all this information will be available on your.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you don't need to write it down tonight, but next the email for us is the easiest way to get the information quick and to send you the information quick or call you back, because if you phone, we are gonna have a pile of message on the so it's easier to use the email. So like I said, the information will be available on the city website. So regarding the West Nile virus, so for the Ottawa City, it's 311. So if you call that and you want to know what's going on this year, do we have a lot of case or something like that, in which region that we can have more cases. So that's the track that you have to go through. Next one. So that's the process when we have a complaint about the program. So that's the process that is done for us to do it the more quickly as possible and the more efficiently also. So the first thing that is done, that the address of the person is mapped on a map. So starting from this moment, we can know what is in the surrounding of the resident house or park or anything. So we can see if there is a special stagnant water that we already got on map. So we have already information. So the next step, so the local coordinator can call or meet the citizen. The third step is the local team perform an inspection, so the monitoring and the tracking. And then on fourth, the city is informed in weekly report. So if there is something like that, and there is a process that is applied, so it's in our report, and the city is aware about everything that happened during that week. So in July 2023, we received too much call in the same week to be able to contact everyone. So it might be frustrating, but since there was a lot of call last year, I was not there, but he was there. It was a big issue to be able to contact everybody. So I think it's about it. So it's question time. I have a question.
Sorry. Yeah, pass them on. Just a quick reminder, the question is like to be related to the operational aspects of the program. So you can give us a.
I will ask Joel to help me, because since I wasn't there last year, it might be more able than.
So my family is fairly new to Ontario. We moved from out east, Nova Scotia last year.
Okay,
And when we moved into the area, we live in Richardson Ridge, which is just off of Terry Fox Drive. We were.
you arrived, were you there last year in 2020?
We arrived late April last year,
Okay,
and we experienced the mosquito issue. I think it was early July. We never seen anything like it in our life. Just, I'll be honest, I couldn't even take my dog. We didn't have them where I lived in Halifax. So it was new, and then I learned about it, and we read the newspapers and understood that there was a program that you guys provided that we pay through our taxes, which is actually defined. But I didn't feel that the spray last year was effective. I did make a call, I think my wife did, and someone came up fairly quick. There's an area, just a wooded area close to our home. They said they sprayed the pools of water, but if I recall, it was 6 or 7 weeks of mosquitoes and they went away. But I can't imagine if this program was in place, how it would be. So because,
Before when we had nothing, you would multiply what you had by 10.
yeah,
You couldn't go to your house at all.
And
It was unreal.
and knowing that, I would almost make a guess when I have moved to the area, knowing what I know now. Because,
okay,
in Halifax, I look at the home, I look at the location, Kanata's nice street views, everything's there. But we were surprised to find out about the mosquito issue. And that's why we're here tonight, to learn about the cycles of what you guys do and how they exist, so it's educational for us. But I can say I've never seen that like it before, so I can't imagine.
It was unreal.
Without the program, what it's like, it's 6 weeks, but 6 weeks of no fun,
okay.
it's.
It was in July?
I think we tried to remember, I think it was July, July, yeah, July. Literally, and we look out of our house and everybody in the community walking around with these fish nets.
Yeah.
And we're thinking, yeah, it was unbelievable thing. So we tried to take our dog for a walk 6 in the morning, couldn't do it. It would eat them alive, it was that bad. So I'm thinking, this is summer.
You know where?
So it's starting to like winter. It's starting to like winter. Anyway, it's just, so we're here to learn about the program and I'm glad it's going ahead. I don't know why, unless people like mosquitoes to be against the spraying. I can't imagine that. So, but anyway, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
But
today.
we are very conscious of the problem. And from year to year, it's different from year to year. So last year was an awful year.
We had two big rain in the same week. So the larvae from upstream, they moved and they arrived already in pupae.
Okay,
So we could not treat them, and the one we treated, they were flushed away.
And one other thing we were warned about is the awful, miserable cold, stormy winters in Ottawa. Well, if it's like that every year, well, what we experience this year, bring it on.
we
So-
can do nothing about it.
So, no, I know, it's unusual, I'm told, because everyone tells us So knowing the winter we had, where do you foresee this spring or late spring, early summer issues with mosquitoes? So
I would say the presence of snow, I don't know if you see snow in the show. So the mosquito need water in the spring. So if there is no snow, there is no water. So this year, we expect that it's gonna be a season with not much mosquito. We think. And yeah, but, all right. And it's easier when, see, it's true that in spring, like I said, there is two different strategies, spring and summer. So maybe in the spring, we might have less mosquito because there is not much water, not much snow that will become water. But if we have a rainy summer, that's a good environment for the.
No, I understand that grew up in the plant, so fishing in the woods is sometimes mosquitoes, there's swamps. So, another thing, I get the weekend and look after my yard, you want a mosquito patch. That, this is all new to us, so maybe they get a mosquito patch.
That's a different chemical.
Yeah.
That kills everything. That's the problem.
And we apparently, we had two little puppies, so we were told they weren't pet friendly. Anyway, that's true, it's just that we're not mosquito fans.
Nobody except bats.
But we have two little puppies that we want to make sure they're safe and children and all that stuff, so they're, I mean, this is all.
Yeah.
Otherwise-
There's been a study, a 3-year study. One of our presentations, we showed that, we talked about that study. That they said they didn't find any of this chemical in other species, frogs and amphibians. It's not true of permethrin, which is what other companies use. So that's why this one has been allowed to continue because of the studies that were done to say that it's safer. So.
Okay.
This is a community one, the others are private and, people have different ideas of their own, but this one is, the research has shown to be safe.
And this research is still going on.
Yeah.
There's still research on the use of BTI and the impact on the frogs and like, on frogs and.
So do you do residents, like privately, if someone were to hire you for their own?
No, we
property?
work for the.
Oh,
the study.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
What do you want to know?
There we go.
My name is Wilhelmina, and I have a concern about the spray. If you eat fruit that has been sprayed, is it dangerous to your stomach? Because at the entrance to the Kanata Golf and Country Club Maintenance Facility, they sprayed there, and there was a big sign, and there's fruit growing, berries. And there was a lady last year, she was eating the fruit, and that was my concern, would that upset her stomach?
About the product that we use, the BTI?
Yeah.
No, because like I said, the BTI, the insect, they have alkali, a pH very high. So with this pH, it will degrade the bacteria. And once it's like that, it's gonna damage the stomach. But since our pH is really lower than that, so this phenomenon doesn't occur. It doesn't
Okay, so
occur.
the berries are then safe to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my.
In the United Nations, they recommend to use BTI in
Water.
in countries where there are malaria.
Okay,
So they treat the well.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question.
I'll give you the mic.
No,
No.
we need it for the.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a question. Are you, when you're treating mosquito, are you also taking care of ticks?
Taking what?
Ticks.
No.
No, it's only for
Yeah,
mosquito.
yeah.
Okay.
It's only that type of insect that it's what is good from this biological insecticide, that it targets really the diphterans, the mosquito and the black flies. So no ticks.
Yeah, also, as the last year, I remember about mid of July, so just one day, suddenly all mosquito come out or
Yeah.
something. But what is, I think my impression is probably at least last for 6 to 8 weeks. Why is that? Because I know like mosquito cycle is 7 days or a week, so
But the cycle is 7 days, but an adult can live 1 month, 2 months.
The mosquito species we have in Cork River is Oclerotatus rivitatus, the name, and this one is really big and aggressive biter. And it's the one that emerged in July. And if it's not raining or if it's not too hot, they can remain up to 6 to 8 weeks. So that's what happened last year.
So is any like a preventing plan, for example, if the similar case happened this season, oh, like everybody still has to live with, whatever is happening.
But like Joel said earlier, it's true that if we manage a sector, we do treatment, but if there is an event, like a big rain, and the water is displaced, so the treated larvae are dead and getting away. And what comes by is the pupae, but the pupae, they don't eat, it's like a cocoon. And the little mosquito will get out of so if the rain brings water from a sector that was not treated, so that's what happened last year.
So you're thinking that's what happened, okay, yeah.
That's what happened last year. This year, we don't know.
We extended the area of the Cork River.
So you do increase the treated area, like you're trying to increase the area. this
Yeah.
year. Also, maybe my question is have also for Katie as well. Is there any, like a way to monitor infectedness or like to evaluate how effective the companies work? Or like, is any evaluation exist?
So, I mean, one of the things, like your elected official, right? If people voted, right, they wanted to continue it again, and so that was how we evaluated, but that is a 4-year contract, right? So, however, I would say at the end of the year, I mean, we could track the number of calls where you had to go out where there were an excess of mosquitoes. I mean, last year and the other year, I've only done this for 2 years, right? People would call in and say, my backyard is full of mosquitoes, and they would go out immediately, right? And so people would email us back and say, hey, they did arrive and they treated it and they actually put a trap. And so, I mean, we could record how many and then what was the resolution. We could definitely do that. It's just that at the end of the day, this is what we're doing for the next 4 years. 4 years from now, there'll be another vote. And then it's up again to the community to vote, right? It's not a decision that we make. It's the community decides to do it again or not. Yeah.
But we only vote if we're going to continue the program or not, but we never vote if we're going to use the same company or not.
Yeah.
Is there anything like?
Yeah, I mean, we vote to say, do we want to have some type of control program? And then, I mean, as the model went this year, the city puts out an RFP, a request for proposals. Whatever companies there are can apply to do the program, and the city evaluates which is the best one. So, I see your point that there could be some evaluation, but in a company we don't know of, would they have an evaluation system that was the exact same for our area? So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to try and-
I don't know either, I'm just.
Yeah. But I mean, certainly we could figure out how we could maybe gauge how many calls had to come in after the fact, after the treatment, and what the response was. We could. Yeah, never be against anything like that. It's a matter of what would be valid.
Just go to one.
That's okay. Go ahead.
You're saying, go ahead with your follow-up.
With respect to the, went out for a vote, is that public? Is that in the newspaper?
Yeah.
I wasn't aware. Are you allowed to share who, the percentage for it and against it?
Yeah, Nick has the numbers. There was like 3,000 and somebody for it and then 700 against it.
Okay,
So was the majority was for it, yeah.
okay.
And that was in the newspaper, my newsletter, but sign up for that and you'll see that 4 years from now.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, to continue with the previous topic, and I think it might help to add to our current subjective review by counting the calls. We can make a scientific matrix or something. My kids can count their bites every day. I'm just kidding. But, I have another question though. I don't see many dragonflies. You know, when I was a kid, I see dragonflies catch those mosquitoes. I wonder if your technology has a bad effect on those natural predators on mosquitoes or not. Can
You
you?
want an answer for that? We've had this question before. It's a fascinating answer. Actually, go ahead.
But you're asking if the product have a bad effect on the dragonfly larvae?
Dragonflies in general, like
But
natural predators.
there is no impact on the larvae. But the thing is that mosquitoes are not the only insect that are available for food. So there's a lot of food if we remove the mosquito. So the dragonfly, they can eat mosquito, but they can eat some other insects. So it's not they do not rely on the presence of adult mosquitoes.
I don't even see one or two flying over my yard, but so many mosquitoes.
Do you have flower beds?
Huh?
Do you have flower beds in your yard? Like, do you grow flowers? Okay. Grow flowers and the dragonflies will come. And the fruit flies. There are special plants, there are actually special flowers that attract dragonflies. So if you go to a nursery and say, you know, which are the plants, and you can grow them and dragonflies will come. Same thing as butterflies, same thing in concept.
Hello, I'm Melton Lingxi. Thanks for the presentation. I have, as a councillor Curry mentioned, we have RFP for that. So I actually read the RFP, 40-page RFP from the first page to the last. So I have a few questions regarding the RFP. So first of all, RFP, the request for proposal.
So the questions are to be related to the operational aspect.
Absolutely.
Things
I'm
related
aware
to
that, yeah.
the RFP, you could send in to us and we follow.
Yeah, you can stop me if I cross line. So, yeah, the RFP articulates the objective of using the treatment to reduce the number of nuisance mosquitoes by a minimum of 80% within the designated service place. So can you provide annual performance reports spanning the past 6 or 7 years? I believe you have the business in this area for 6-7 years, not 2 years, but 6-7 years since 2016, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you have that annual performance report to cover the past 6 or 7 years, indicating that you have successfully attained the result?
Do we have captures out in treatment?
We have traps.
Okay, thank you. So we have information using traps, but in the reports, in the city report, do we present these?
Not at all. But we present the sweet catch that we conduct with the net. And
No, I'm not talking about the method, I'm talking about result, because we're
Yeah.
looking for 80%
Mhm.
reduction of the mosquitoes. I would like to see the number to show
Yeah,
that
okay,
you
okay.
successfully attained that performance standard.
Yeah, I'll just make one comment that what was told to us, not when it was the RFP or anything like that, was that they did a test outside the treatment area and then a test inside the treatment area on the same night. Right? So and the inside area was Morgan's Grant and the outside area was Loch March area. And so, which is up second line, South March Highlands. The outside that evening, they captured 8,000 mosquitoes and inside they captured 107. So that is the statistic we've been given for when they did the tests outside versus inside, right? So I'm not sure if that then demonstrates 80%, but those were the kind of tests we were seeing last year.
That doesn't make sense.
And
That's
I
a
know
rural
the
area.
covered area.
No,
I'm
but
sure
the-
you can get more than 10,000.
But the rural area was not treated, right? That
No,
that
it's
was the idea.
treated, where we live, it's treated, but it's unbearable. I wear beekeeper's hat. And I go out for 2 minutes, I'm bitten all over me, 30 bug bites on my face.
Yeah. But I'll just in terms of your point, I know, because some areas were bad where they hadn't treated the water, they didn't know there was water there. But I'm just saying, the way they're doing the test is outside the area versus inside the area to demonstrate that there is a
They
difference.
shouldn't go to Morgan's plant because there's no pond in Morgan's plant. They should
Well,
go to
there's-
Castle Pond area or Beaver Pond area.
But Morgan's Grand has Shirley's Brook, and Morgan's Grand has the big stormwater ponds.
So this year.
So there are ponds water everywhere in Canada.
Yeah, so this year, can we suggest change another sample area, just use our neighborhood as example, because we are desperate and looking to go into.
Could be, so in terms of the communication here, what we're really hoping for is for people like you to say, look, our area was really bad. Can you come and look and see where the water
called
was?
last year, nobody came. I
Is
called
it
three
possible
times
to
last year.
know which one of the area are problematic?
Yeah.
And for us, before the season, we can map all the stagnant water potentially being a problem.
Before.
And telling the people, can you take a look at the field agent, precisely this sector?
I see your drone comes to spray, but I can tell you, you come over the Castle Pond and Beaver Pond. But underneath the tree, there are three big dead ponds I can locate and tell you. where
Okay.
it is.
Perfect.
In the spring, yesterday, I already encountered 3 mosquitoes flying into my face yesterday. But I do see frogs are coming out already. But I think the 3 dead ponds definitely need to be treated, because if you go fly over the sky, it will be taken by the forests. So you don't have to go and.
That's exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of in March, the mosquitoes start already. So almost every year, because once I, have a hike into the woods, the mosquito is there, but they're not, have a big group, they haven't fight, but they're there.
The mosquito that can be there at this moment are last year mosquito, probably Culex. It's a species that usually don't bite human, and they survive through their winter in the basement and,
Because the hibernation stage is the adult. Compared to the spring species, it's the egg. So the eggs need water for the larvae to hatch. And it's 2 different species.
Yeah. I think Shana made a question, no, yeah, made a great point, maybe, if we have, more, contingency to get more, food soldiers, involved, maybe we can add more, detailed work to the, to the issue. Because, I do experience variations all from year over year. Maybe we wanna, refine the work if we have enough budget. Yeah, just add a couple of people doing, survey around.
Yeah, definitely. The exact addresses, I mean, that's part of it. Like, if you write in and say, this is my exact address, and there is water here, here, and here, that they will go over and treat. There were a whole bunch of places around Shirley's Brook where there was construction going on, and people hadn't realized that earth had been moved by big machines and collected all this water in one area. And then the mosquitoes were terrible, but nobody knew that water was there. So that was one of the most important things that came out of that people called in and said, do you know that there's all this standing water out in this area? And they went over and they treated that. But that's the kind of information, that's what we're talking about here. The more you can feed that information to them, then they'll know where to go.
I sent 5 emails last year, and I leave my exact address, my name, my telephone number, and receive an automatic reply, but nothing else. Yeah.
Same, I called 3 times and they come back.
Yeah.
Now, we need, I think, I hear that means the mechanism.
Oh, yeah.
Of the connection, who has the,
But this year, what we presented,
authority to
Can you-
call it.
Yeah.
That's why.
I don't, I don't want to come to be bothered by a high call.
With anything, I get faster response if I email rather than phone.
so
Okay.
this email, it's a person answering, there's no automatic reply. So this year, so like I said, if it's possible through the city website to obtain that email and tell us where you live. and tell us about your last year problem. And now in priority, we can feed the people, the field agent about these issues.
And we can change the sweet test that we do to control quality and,
We can use your sector for a place that control is applied and compare it to an out place where there's no treatment.
Okay, so we'll go back to the question.
Yeah, thanks for that, because it's all about the number, it's all about the result, because we would like to say 8% deduction of the mosquitoes. That's the point. As you've been in this business since 2016, and we just hope that you have the evidence to show that you actually successfully reach the objective.
But we have the data. I think we.
If that will be able to share with us, that would be great. Yeah.
But it's we.
Because I only
do the calculation in the next report for this year. We're gonna present it in percentage. So since we have evaluation of trapping in and out of the treatment, so we can transfer it in percentage and then show it in the report.
Good.
We
Yes,
can have access to these reports.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I came across a case study from your website, indicated the number from 2015 to 2017. So there's a comparative diagram to show the progress, which is good. I just wondering if you can provide the source of the data, and also you have a number, the data for the subsequent years, that would be great.
Okay, what I can do in the first report, I'm gonna do a retrospective of the evaluation of the quality control with the adult. So we're gonna present the result maybe for the time last year, something like that. And you're gonna see what were the scores about the nuisance reduction in the first report.
Yeah, and also in terms of the coming program, I guess this question probably is for Councillor Curry. So the RFP specifies that over the term of the contract, the contractor must be prepared to participate in progress meetings with the city staff and to provide information on the progress of to date and work accomplishment. So does city already have like the frequency of the progress meetings and how and when that meeting will take place, and also whether the resident participation will be available or possible?
So Nick knows.
So, for example, last year, we met with them 4 different times. I think it was, we met this year to start the meeting, and then 3 times in between in the closing meeting. So, yeah, throughout the year, and also, so progress and how things are going, and also some of those times, like in July, for example, when people are reaching out to our office, letting us know that if it's been difficult, that type of thing, which we then explain in our newsletter a little bit, and then get people to reach out, like we've said today, to reach out to those contacts. I think Councillor Kerr would be able to answer this, but we could maybe look at having, if we think it would be of interest, something halfway through the year to see how things go, for sure.
We had one in Beaverbrook, right in a park, where people came out and they talked to the whole group that was there. But yeah, I mean, we can, however you want to do it. We're happy to do that, see how things are going and have another public meeting.
Yeah, I would expect regular progress meeting as opposed to ad hoc meetings, and also invite more resident participation to see how the progress is, and if any improvement or even the thing that we can do better. So that's the point of the progress meeting, right? We will see how we are doing and if anything we can improve.
Yeah, so what do you mean by an ad hoc meeting? What's an ad
I
hoc?
don't know, because you said we may have a meeting in the summer, because here the RFP says that we'll have progress meetings.
With city staff though, right?
With the city staff,
I'm
yeah.
not city staff.
Well, I'm aware of that, just I don't know if you will be able to pass that information to the city on our behalf, or we have to go to the city and say, well, if we can attend the progress meeting from a residents perspective.
Yeah, there have to be 4 meetings. They have to have 4 meetings with city staff. right? But for me, as your counselor, I'm not staff, right? I can hold a meeting where I can let everybody know, you can come out and you can talk to them again. You can do that for sure. But it would entail 4 meetings, so you have to report to city staff 4 times, probably to procurement. Actually, to make sure that, and to the people who set your tax rate, to make sure that it is happening, right? That's a separate thing, right? I always have to remind the community of that, right? Like, I don't work for the city, I work for the residents, so I can hold a meeting and say, everybody come out, give them information, and I'm providing you this opportunity to make sure you have all the communication abilities, right? Yeah, but yeah,
So
city
go back
staff
to-
have to do the 4 meetings.
Sounds good, yeah, I can check with the city and see if we can attend that city staff meeting. But for you, councillor, because you are labeled as a project authority, so I don't know if you can explain your role in this program and also the activities you plan to do during the implementation, because your name is on the page 6 of the RFP, so as a project authority, so that's why.
Yeah, but it's an interesting thing though, because I have no say in what goes on. I have to run the vote as the counselor, so I have to provide the opportunity for the community to vote, right? But I'm not involved in any decision-making as to who they choose or anything, so I have to make sure the community can communicate to the GDG and make sure this process takes place. But I don't authority, like, I mean, I don't have a science degree, I don't know anything about this, I just hold the public meetings and say, here, say whatever you want to say, right? So I think that's a term that doesn't mean anything other than it goes through the counselor's office, the back and forth with the community. But otherwise, I'm not involved.
Yeah, that's probably different definition of the title, because
Yeah.
your name is under the contracting authority, which is Mike, and your name is as a project authority. So that's why I expect that we have more say in this program.
It's because Councillor Curry, our office has asked for an RFP to put out. That's why her name is there. Mike is from procurement at the city of Ottawa, and he runs the whole procurement process. So it's kept separately on purpose, right? Or else Councillor Curry could influence a business or that type of thing. So they have to follow that certain process. So that's why her name is on there, and then Mike's is underneath that, because he is the individual from the city who ran it from procurement.
Yeah, in our terminology, Mike as a procurement authority is responsible for the RFP procurement process, versus the project authority is accountable for that program implementation. That's in our terminology, so.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, honestly, I until this moment here, I didn't know I was listed on as anything.
It shows you on the paper.
Yeah. So they must have put it in because it runs through the counselor's office or another counselor, just so you know whose area it is. But yeah, I could never be involved in the contract part of this, right? Anything that has money at all, like a bylaw ticket, nothing are we allowed to ever be involved in or have any say over. We're just kind of like the coordinators of these meetings.
Last question regarding the progress is that in the RFP, it says over the term of a contract, the contractor must post on its website and inform the counselor's office each time they apply treatment, including method, location, and type, and B, of weekly reports demonstrating reduction rates achieved. So I trust those clauses will be included in the contract.
Yeah, we got those every single week, but they're kind of like, they're detailed reports, but I gather the last council put them on her website, and we didn't, because they were technical reports, we didn't think to do that, but we can do that this time. Because we did receive them, we would look at it and see there was a reduction, but I will put them up on the website and you can look at them every week.
So our target is 80% reduction.
Yeah.
That's a goal, and we have
Yeah.
to make sure that company deliver what they promised to do.
Yeah, for sure.
We will try to.
8,000 versus 107, yeah.
I try to learn how to read
Wait.
the technical report.
One quick second.
I try. So in my view, the peak rural Kanata compare with Kanata North and compare, you should compare Kanata South with Kanata. It's all urban area. That part not trade, this part trade. I don't believe in Kanata south, you can take 8,000 mosquitoes. You have, because my kids, they suffer from your kid. This area treated, that area not treated, I didn't feel different. I feel Kanata North even better.
Much better.
So let me just tell you one thing though. One of the problems that we have, and I talked to the council for West Carleton, is that the reason Kanata North is so bad is because of the Carp River watershed, which is predominantly Kanata North and West Carleton. So the challenge we have is that West Carleton does not treat. And so that's the water that comes to us, right? Kanata South does not have the Carp River watershed. So you're right. And I mean, Barhaven maybe has no mosquitoes. I know Orleans has 1,000,000. We've got lots of Barhaven.
None.
None. So the problem, the reason why we started in Kanata North was because we have this Carp River watershed, which creates the crazy amount of mosquitoes we have. So that's the only problem. So where they're treating is they're treating the Carp River watershed area that is not treated. You know, like when they're doing their test, because it's more like our area, but not treated.
I think that's arguable, and we can find some perfect location between this and then, because that's the basement. If the basement is not right, so we can overscale. You have probably a 90%, performance, which, we don't believe so. That's a problem, right? Especially after 2 years, people lose confidence in the TV. I'm very straightforward, sorry. That's it, and so all blame come to Congress office. And really, they got a lot. I talked with them last time, in public consultation.
Yeah.
So we need to find a way to measure. This 80% is not, it's in the contract. And we want this, performance. That's,
Yeah.
around it.
So I don't agree.
So
with
just in order to get everything recorded and get this back ordered a little bit, can you answer, do you meet with city staff regularly, Emma Cook and them, in regards to his question, please?
Yeah.
How regularly do you meet with city staff? À quelle fréquence est-ce que vous rencontrez avec les employés?
Last year, I was not there last year.
We met, I think it was 6 times last year.
Okay,
And with Nick, we exchange email weekly. And during the week of July, which was
so
also.
6 times city staff.
Yeah.
Okay, to your questions. And then you provide us with weekly reports.
Yeah.
The reason, in part, we don't publicize it was for confidentiality reasons. There are addresses included and things like that. So
Oh, okay.
that was part of the reason why those reports aren't publicized.
But to note
Yes.
for that, we're gonna this year take that
We'll
part,
make it
like
public.
make it so when they send it, it's 2 different documents, so the confidential aspect is not gonna be in it, so then they'll be posted.
Oh,
That's all we care. We don't care.
that will be disclosed. All right, so get it back ordered. You have a question?
No, back to your
Yeah.
question.
I do. Oh, when somebody else says,
Okay.
that's fine.
Here. Sorry, my question is, what is the path of this Carp River water that's coming to North Canada?
Well,
What
Want
is
to
the
give a
path?
map to show the watershed at all? I wonder if one of them showing it.
He's gonna find one.
I asked the counselor
On the
for West Carleton to ask his community, and the counselors are not, they don't really want to start this. Like, when we started in Canada, it was so bad. People were like, as I told you 10 times, like, you could not go out of your house. People were like, let's do something, let's do anything.
Michelle.
When a counselor doesn't have a community saying, let's do something, they kind of want to start something. So I was like,
We don't have a map
your
there.
area,
I thought
we'd all
that
be
we
better,
could go over
but-
internet.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I want to show a map that shows you the Carp River watershed. Do you think you have one up there that shows where it goes all up into Carp?
Yeah, I'll be able to find
Like,
it. Just give me
it fundamentally goes all the way in through Carp, right through the village of Carp. And it overflows its banks all the time, right? Like, I don't know if I could even just tell you at March Road and Carp Road, so right at the village of Carp. So if you went down March Road till you hit Carp Road, that whole area there is, like this low-lying area, we're not allowed to build, because the Carp River overflows all the time, and it goes right out into the farmers' fields and everything. And so that is where there's just tremendous amount of water, and none of it's treated with this, because it's carp, right?
But even people in Carp, they never complain about mosquitoes.
Oh,
Oh, they do,
Yeah,
they do.
They do.
Oh, yes, they do.
And that's why I said to Clark, the counselor from West Carleton, I said, Clark complains, Clark knows what it's like, but he's got a huge ward, right? An absolutely enormous ward. His ward goes all the way almost to Almont. And so he's like, right, but I only have the village of Clark that is the worst. So that's why GDG has started to treat West Carleton. Now, even though they're not paying for some of the treatment, but that's the source of all the mosquitoes, is that Carp River watershed. So we don't have a map, Nick?
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
Do you have a follow-up and then more?
Yeah, the other question I have is, I do live right behind the woods, okay, so I have woods behind me. And there are a lot of little, almost like holes where the water fills up. So my, request is that you guys should be spraying it now, not once the trees are full. Because when I called, they said, oh, the helicopters were out spraying, but the trees are so full, when you're spraying, the spray sits on the leaves. It's not hitting the water.
When they spray.
Right now, there are no leaves, but you know, when in the summer, when you're spraying, July, especially
Yeah.
July and August, which is the worst time. So if they're breeding, if they're coming out in July, maybe they're breeding in June to come out in July. However, in May and now when the trees are not full, this is where I think if you're going to use the helicopters, this is where you can do the air treatment. But I would like you guys to get out there
We are
and,
there.
and spray the little ponds, you know, yeah.
We are already there. There's people that are doing monitoring. That's what we were telling.
Okay,
And treatment will begin some next week. Something.
okay, because I'll keep my eyes open.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I work from home and I sit where I can see, and last year I didn't see too much activity
So
out
in
there.
which sector are you?
I am in Morgan's Grant, right between second line and within the little triangle of second line and Terry Fox.
Okay.
The other issue I find, and this is, I don't know if it's something that you can look into, or it has to go to the city. I walk around, Innovation Park and all that. And all our trenches, they are so full of weeds and the water stays there all through the summer because all the drainage is blocked. Nobody's cleaning those blockages. I've called the city, I've sent an email, and I can literally walk with you and show you all the
Oh, I
areas.
know.
And those are the breeding grounds. That's where these things are breeding, because there's so much stagnant water all around North Canada, like especially around the high-tech area and all this. It's just awful. It's just, and if they're not treated there,
Yeah.
and if
We
that
treat
water
it
is
there.
not flowing, that's where our problem is, you know?
We have the map.
Okay, Carp River watershed. Right up to Pittsburgh Harbor, I guess, eh?
All
See the town
the
of
small
Carp right in the
ones?
middle?
Yeah, so obviously you can see here that, Carp's right here, runs just south of Carp. Yeah, I can say that our office gets emails from people in Carp, a lot of people that we just have to send to GDG, but we still answer them, of course, but it's not, not in our ward of people complaining about the mosquitoes, just because they've heard about the mosquito program, maybe. Often people don't know who their city councilor is or what ward they live in, but I can say we've definitely, last year we got a lot, and we kind of just let their
On
office.
the map, Kanata is
Where is Kanata?
upstream.
Yeah.
Kanata's upstream, it's not downstream.
That's what I want to see with Morgan's event in relation to the.
Oh, the Kanata.
But Kanata's upstream, hey, it's not downstream. How come the water goes back upstream to Kanata? From there, only that small area.
Yeah.
So that's only small area, is affecting Kanata.
Mhm.
Not downstream, the big area, big yellowish, so.
But in a small pool of water, that big, you can have,
So, yeah,
500,
yeah, so I do want to appreciate this lady's excellent feedback. Yeah, and I want to, also add on that because Kyrene is so flat, it's so stagnant, you know, the water just in this local area would be enough to cause a problem. And, the helicopter, I don't know how much it costs to fly once. You know, you have big budget, the helicopter is expensive, I think. But compared with the food soldiers, if you put people there compared to budget.
Yeah,
Especially around the wooded
Maybe
areas.
have better results. Treat them.
For the spring treatment, we usually send the helicopter at the end of April.
How much does it cost?
Sometimes it's drone.
Yeah, and in the summer, we use a lot of drone for the Gulf River more than the helicopter.
Okay.
So even if the open areas in North Canal, where the high-tech area is, like if you just have the drones going there, like you'll find so many areas that, and I'll just make one comment that I've been in North Canada since 2007. And to my Halifax friends here, when I first moved in Morgan's Grant, I couldn't even walk out in July. You put your foot on the ground and it was cloud of mosquitoes that would rise. So there is improvement on the positive note. There's definitely improvement, and it's very weather related.
Yeah.
Because last year was a wet summer, so we had a lot more mosquitoes. 2 years before that, when it was a dry summer, we didn't have as many. And I remember one of my neighbors that had moved in, and we were talking just at a summer, get together, and they said, "Where are the mosquitoes you guys were complaining about?" And we all laughed because that summer was dry, didn't have the mosquitoes. So this year probably we won't have the same problem, but I think it's, it's
Yeah, we don't know
never up and down.
Also, don't forget that when you're in your backyard getting bitten, we are in the forest got bitten. So we are the first one to want it to work.
Yeah.
Do you have a map that zooms in more in Kanata area? Where you're going to start your applications, either aerial or by hand? Because that will zone in, well, where we live, we're on Remanan Circle. Right in Ridge. And I'd like to know within our radius where you are. I know our home is on the corner of Ramanan and Huntsville. And so there is a forested area in between where it's one way, but Huntsville is one way. So we have that in between us, and I do see the guys there.
Yeah.
training.
How about GPS path?
Yeah, we have all this information.
Yeah.
We have it, the geomatic thing. We have all the maps of the treatment area, the sector that has to be sprayed.
Yeah.
We don't have it here tonight,
Okay.
but all this information is available before we start the program.
Next time you can count on, how many miles, how many kilometers guy has walked, because when I jog, I have a map, I can report where,
Yeah.
run around. right?
Every,
You can publish that to show to the community that you really did work.
Like we presented, one way to evaluate the quality control of the treatment, you saw the path of the field agent that was depending for evaluating the mortality level of the larvae. So every single field agent, they monitor their displacement during the day because they have a GPS, and it allows us to know, and them to know what was done during which day of the week, and it's
Yeah.
part of the report.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm gonna send those, please make sure you're on my email newsletter list. I will be sending those all out. Because one of our consultation nights, they did show us, they showed all the pathways that all the field agents had gone on. So that was, I think, our second consultation night, but that's not here today. You only just saw the one line, but we can send that out.
That's great. Yeah, I think more than the technical questions people have here.
Yeah.
People are more concerned about communication.
Yeah.
How much information are getting back.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's why, this was exactly why we had this night. So that we can talk about what communication do you want? How do you want it sent? And so, I have the newsletter list that I send out every year. We send it every 2 weeks. But I can just every week send out the mosquito report, and then every other week do my newsletter. So I could do that. And then you guys make sure you call in and say, come see my area. I've got standing water, but you've got the contact information. Okay.
Yeah, talking about the quality, like I just go back to check my email, like the year before, I was sending email in July 1st,
but that's a bad day. I didn't got any reply. Last year, I was sending email on July 12th. I got reply on July 23rd, asked my address. I give out my address and it's.
Nobody.
So anyway, that's just a little bit, I know that it is work, like it's bad, probably everybody was a little bit, but I'll just say, yeah.
So, my name is Leanne, and, so I just want to, continue the conversation the resident have here. I think, in my point of view, to, improve the communication and would like to suggest like, maybe, Councilor Curry's office can publish, on the website for the activity logs.
Yeah.
So then people are very easy by tracking what you have been done, like for the past week, which neighborhood you visited, and what you have done, say helicopter spray or on foot drawn, anything. So, but that we're going to reduce a large amount of email, go back and forth to your company, to Councilor Curry's office, right? And also in your presentation, you're talking about that you have a map to identify which area, who report in the neighborhood have the issue. So I think if you can share that map to the community, and then it will going to be very intuitive for the community says, okay, and they already aware in our neighborhood, we have the issue, and then combine with the activity log, and people know you have been done something. And also in this way, it's kind of like a help the community gets engaged in how to do the control performance quality evaluation. Basically, like right now, the feedback I got from the community is there's a large amount of people are very upset. They think the effectiveness of this program is really bad, and no offense, I got numerous people come to me says they want GDG out because they don't think it's working. And so, by the way, and the reason I got a lot of people come to me is because I was the one of the people who pushed Councilor May Wilkinson to get this program going. So,
In the first place.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why I got a lot of people come to me and explain, and even like to some extent, I even got someone attacking me, just says like I'm promoting this is because I got money from you guys. Yeah, so basically I believe like have the activity log online and have the map online, and also as Lynn suggested, and have a more progress meeting like what we're having tonight. I believe like by work together, we can get things better. Thank you.
From which sector are you from?
My house is right beside the Kiesel Park.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really bad.
Like I said, I would really appreciate if you could write us with the email and which are the places that you have issues last year, just let us know. And for us, it will be a big improvement to know exactly. Tell us, was it in the spring, was it all the summer, was it all the time, and will help us.
6 weeks of, 6 weeks.
But each time I contacted you, you got right back to me, and I saw the vehicles drive up and park by my house.
Wonderful.
And go up into the area that we figured it was the issue.
Last year, we just had too much in the same week to manage to do it, and if we have the choice of going out treating or calling back people, we will go in the field to treat.
Yes.
So that's why we could not manage to call back
Yeah.
everyone last week.
Is there a commercial spray that we could use in our backyard?
You can, like I said, you can go maybe Canadian Tire or any.
Yeah.
And if you ask for a BTI, they're gonna show you the product.
Oh, okay.
But BTI, but as I said, if you can identify artificial containers with water in it, you just need to empty them once a week. Because it takes about 7 to 10 days, depending on the temperature, for the cycle to, from the egg to the adult. So the best way is to empty, and check the gutter.
Yeah.
Make sure that they empty easily.
And tire.
Yeah, like a pool, for if you have a swimming pool, it's filtering out your water too much.
Yeah.
And it's, there is floor, so the insect cannot develop. Okay.
Good question.
Okay, any outstanding question?
Is treating adult mosquito totally out of the site, or is still viable solution?
But does it depend, is it the city that decide to do,
I mean, this whole program was not to treat adults, as far as I understand. Again, like, again, Mary Ann started this, and then Jenna continued it, so we just did the same process that they did, I hold the vote. But I don't remember if there was a rule you couldn't treat adults, I just know that this program was the one that did, because that was what the community, I thought, asked for. Like, they didn't want anything that would kill other bugs, they just wanted everything to just focus on just this type of mosquito.
Yeah, but the thing is, treating adult mosquito is very common in other cities, including Toronto or in any of the US states. And it's proven to be much more effective. So I don't see why we can't do this as a whole city.
Good question.
Yeah.
They usually do it for West Nile virus or health control, which is not the.
And I did research and say it's very safe for the farming as well. So, and the US has been adopting it for over 20 years. So I think it's another thing we could explore.
You know what, if you send me an email, I'll ask staff that question, because you're right, if we treat, I think the city, I'm sure the city treats for West Nile.
I think
Right,
I
so
sent
that would be
to Nick in January. I sent the link.
Yeah, well, because we could ask the city, like, what would we do if, if it were adults that we wanted to treat?
Yeah, because oftentimes the spring, the rain comes and then adult mosquito already coming out, and so we have to wait for weeks until it's another treatment. Yeah.
In this city. Yeah, if you send me an email, I'll get Stafford to answer that, because we've only ever understood this to be treating the larva, right? So we can ask.
I believe the city of Ottawa must have did something that I compared. There was a fireworks event, so I go out there, sitting in the woods for hours, I have no problem. But once I came back, all got fully back. So I couldn't go out when I'm home, but I can go downtown. What's the difference downtown and the pounds of water as well? I know you're saying that's a moving water, but that, I don't know. But that doesn't mean there's no mosquito.
Well, one thing I can tell you is that people from other areas of the city think we're all a bunch of whining babies out there. And they do it to me all the time, and I say, you need to come out and see what the mosquitoes are like in Canada. I have one other counselor way out in the East End who says it's just as bad out there, I don't know what her water source is out there.
I have a friend that lives in Orleans.
Yeah.
And she complains about the mosquitoes. She says, you guys are so lucky, you're doing something about it.
I
She
know.
says, there's nothing, nobody's doing anything, and she's like, I'm getting that out in my yard. So there are pockets in all areas in Ottawa,
Ottawa City, downtown, there is perfect.
Yeah.
So I don't know what is.
A lot of water, a lot of
There
pavement.
was
There's a lot of pavement, no grass,
Stay away from the
grass, water,
Speak of Carp River, I remember in Canada South, near Glencairn, the storm drain is also part of Carp River drain, and I lived there before. I think back then the city treated it all together, and it wasn't as bad as in Kanata North. So so I'm thinking, like, if city can approve the same type of treatment back then, maybe I think that's around 2008 to before that. So if they can apply that again to the entire
Okay.
Kanata North, that would be
Definitely.
helpful.
We'll ask her to, and I'll ask Alan to review, but if you send an email, then I'll get an actual staff response about spraying adults and what they did, because, yeah, I know that there was, because I think it was mostly for the West Nile, that there was a program for that. I'll ask if I may.
So quickly, so maybe the last two, because last 10 minutes, so 1, 2, and you had an answer? No,
Yeah, or.
okay.
What was your question? No, I didn't really hear your question.
Very good. You're good.
I just have a question regarding a place like Westboro. I've spent a lot of time there along the river and there's no mosquitoes. And why would that be with so much water? And I see water sitting, but there's no mosquitoes.
We have to go check there again, but what we have in Kanata North is that when the Clark River overflow like 5 centimeters, it goes wide and it leaves a lot of pockets. So you can have a big river flowing, but it doesn't overflow
Okay.
wide.
Usually, the larvae of mosquitoes, they are not in water, springing water.
No.
That's what you say. But what the female do, they will lay eggs in the grass where they know that the water will come. So the eggs, they can be there for a few months, maybe 1 year. And once the water, there is an overflow, once the eggs are in contact with the water, now the little larvae will hatch. So that's what can happen.
Wow. That's
annoying.
So they were there before us, so they are million years of exploiting the earth.
Because Grand Canyon and older areas, they don't have storm ponds.
Beaver pond overflowed 2 summers ago 3 times.
Just really comment on the RFP, because as we know, your company is the only bidder from that RFP. Actually, that's probably the reason, because we're limited to the technology. So I actually sent an email to 3 other companies, asked them what prevent you from participation, and one of the companies replied back to me, said because we are limited to a larger site treatment, so that's probably the reason. So we probably can rethink the strategy and see if other technology we can include, so that we can have better industry participation on that program.
So the only thing I will say to you is that the people that voted against this program, they were very strong on that no matter what, if it has side in the end of it, that it's bad for the environment. So the people that voted for this, they were the believers that this was not bad for the environment. If they're, like, we'd have to go down the road of what are the studies showing if it's something different, and then we go for a vote, you know, so that's, I only tell you that because, you know, I hate mosquitoes just as much as anybody else. But I also have a lot of people that the only reason they voted for this was because they felt this was safe and the other ones were not.
We also have to know that the technology improves, so that people may change their mind.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough, you know, but I can tell you though, I know those people, there were a lot of people that, and to the point of the people downtown, they think that, you know, we're whining and complaining and we're killing wildlife and destroying the earth. So those are the arguments we absolutely get, right?
Everywhere in the world, with people.
So you have to remember that other argument, but sure, you know, we can definitely look into it.
Doesn't apply.
5 minutes left,
Yeah.
wrap up, or one last question, maybe Leanne?
So my last question is more to Councilor Carey regarding the 80% evaluation. So since we have beginning of this program, GDG is the one give the report says, oh, we reached our target. And we know, like just like a hockey player, you need a referee there, right? And you can be a player at the same time as a ref, because that's this conflict of interest. So I I talked to Marianne before and also Jenna said regarding, I truly believe that we need to have a third-party evaluation process to give the residents the confidence the program is working. So that's my comments and also question to you.
Mhm.
You wanna?
Sure.
And then.
Sure, yeah. So, absolutely, we can do that. I just have to figure out who would do that, you know, who has the expertise to be able to do that. But I mean, I'm up to figuring out how that would work. Again, I could go back to city staff and say, you know, how would you do this independent evaluation of whether the program works or not? They probably would have a way.
The staff not itself, how experts that review this stuff as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I think if we sent an email to staff, they might say how they would go about being able to do that, you know? I mean, even if they were to accompany you, you know, and to see it, do the test outside and, you know, be there to validate it or something like that. Anyway, let's think about that, how we could do that to make sure that it's valid and independent. All right, well, you know, so this doesn't have to end as you've asked, like, if you have your area that you think needs to be looked at, you want someone to go over there and look at it, please send it to the email, your address, the situation. Remember, as you said, when you've seen it the worst, whether it was spring or summer or whatever. So make sure you do that. We will definitely commit to putting out the reports we get every week. And you'll see the maps of where they've been. So we'll make sure we do that. If you have any other ideas, and I will send the email, you're gonna send me an email asking about the adulticide and the other larvicide, then we can get additional answers from staff. So if you have more questions, let us know. But hopefully, you know, this year we'll have a very good back and forth, and hopefully we won't have as many mosquitoes either, which may help. But I really appreciate everybody coming to talk about it and, you know, honestly sharing what your experiences were. It's very helpful. You know, because we don't know how people are feeling and experiencing this program, then we don't know how to make it better, right?
We also posted in the news, the community news, because some of my friends don't have computers.
See, the only thing is that 300 words I'm allowed in that column. So the only thing is what I try to do is say, go to this website, you know?
Okay, well then I will print it off and give it to my friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I mean, like, we could put some printed article, if they come by here to the senior center, we could put some printed evidence in the Kanata North office, just down the hall, so that's another option. All right, well, thank you all very, very much, and yeah, let's keep talking and keep communicating. Thank you so much.